Hey, welcome back everybody. I'm Jade Monkey. We're back here in Rust talking about that Rust Console Edition for the PlayStation 4, the Xbox One, next generations, and everything in between. And today we're talking about power surge and custom servers and how they're interlinked and how one fate is based off of the other. And again, this is an opinion piece based off of what we can see so far on our side, but rest assured there's a lot of things behind the scenes that we are not privy to, so a lot of this could still change. But based off of our research and things that have happened on the PC side and just knowing how power surge works and some of the custom server stuff and what they've alluded to, I strongly, firmly believe that power surge and custom servers do share a fate, and that could be one major reason why custom servers have been somewhat delayed along with power surge. As we know, power surge is a very beefy update that's set to come out here pretty soon, as we have what's next for Rust Console Edition. We have Oceanbound. Well, first of all, it's going to be Fishing Village, and then it's going to be Oceanbound, and then Power Surge. So I've already done a video on that. If you'd like to see what is coming next for Rust Console Edition, I will go ahead and link that now in the upper right-hand corner, if you want to go check that bad boy out. So, Power Surge and custom servers, they are interlinked. And a lot of people are like, hey, when are custom servers? Which is a good question. Custom servers are much closer. But again, there's a giant question mark, and I think it's because Power Surge and custom servers share the same fate. And you might be saying, hey, how is that, Jade? How do you figure? Well, allow me to show you my crusty drawings downstairs. Beep boop. Okay, so there's two main areas here when you're talking about custom servers, and we already know memory is an issue for the server side, and we'll go over what that is. So servers are just that. That's where these things are hosted. Memory is the main cost factor for a lot of these, cost prohibitive, or they want to keep it more the price points competitive. And just remember that servers for PC and servers for the consoles are going to cost more than they would for PC because you have PlayStation, Xbox, and there's some other overhead as well. So obviously they want to make sure it's competitive pricing. So and then you have the what are these? The clients. So these would be Xboxes and PlayStations, so whether they're next gens or core systems, whatever. So when I say client side, I'm talking about the Xboxes and PlayStations, and when I say server side, I literally mean the service that they're hosted on. So they've already said this outright, and we can already confirm this just knowing how PC stuff works, that memory is the biggest factor. So price and memory are definitely strongly interlinked. They are related to each other. So they've actively said that they want to make sure that price, or that the memory consumption is low enough so that the price will also follow. I know there'll be two price points for this as well. But one of the main factors is power surge is so heavy on, well, I mean, yes, there's some client implications to power surge, so electricity on the clients themselves, so Xbox and PlayStation, but it's super heavy on the server side of things, which means more memory. So they have to keep track of cycles, and think about it. You have a whole active population, you have timers, you have solar panels, you have windmills. They're constantly changing, and that's just entry-level type stuff. So they need to maintain all of these things. So it's very server-side heavy, which means it's memory heavy, which also goes back to price and memory. And also putting out there that there are more factors to this. These are the ones that I think are holding it back currently, as I know, custom servers are the most requested thing out there. So once I believe this gets closer to power surge, gets closer to the public testing branch, or when it hits it, I think they're going to have a better idea of what the consumption is. Because think about it. If they commit themselves and say, okay, the price / memory is this, and then they put it in there, everybody's happy, but then all of a sudden power surge comes out and it's super heavy, all of a sudden that price, the memory goes up, and then they're like, what do we do? Do we do a price hike? Do we eat the cost? None of those are good options. So I think because they need to make sure that power surge runs a certain way and that the memory is good enough, they need to kind of hold back and see what that's going to look like in an active population. You can QA that, but until you have it in an active population, especially a diverse population, because think about it, we got core systems, we got pros, and then we have next gens for either side, for Microsoft and PlayStation, or Sony, excuse me. So there's a lot of things to cover here, and with the core systems, there's a lot of restriction there. And obviously, there is some implications to the new stuff coming into the core systems for the platforms here too. But it's mostly, I believe, just heavy lifting on the memory side for servers. Okay, so let's go upstairs. So power surge is going to be a massive deal. That alone is going to be such a big game changer. Turret spam is going to change. You can still turret spam, but you're going to have to leave a much larger footprint, which means you're going to have to be much more active on the server, and you leave yourself more vulnerable and juicier for larger groups, which as it should be. Depending on when Power Surge comes in, there may or may not be the ability to swap in weapons. Last we heard, but this was a few months ago, they weren't going to implement that on the initial take. So what that means is we won't have the ability to put in different types of weapons. They'll just come with an AUKUS, and then we'll kind of go from there. But they do have plans in the future that if it doesn't come in initially with Power Surge, then the ability to swap these weapons out will definitely be a thing in the future. So just know that you can put anything in there. A little tip here, a Python turret is a face melter, just saying, and it takes pistol bullets, just saying. So when you do swap them out, that's going to be a nice thing. But when you destroy these, they'll actually drop the bullets and the weapon, which is a nice bonus. But more importantly, these consume power over time, and you have to harvest it via solar panels or wind turbines. Again, another reason why tick rate / memory and price are going to be so high, because they got to keep track of all these things. The battery is ticking down. This is adding power to the battery. At certain times during the day, this is running. We have timers actively going. You can start to see why it's so server-side heavy as far as the functionality of Power Surge or electricity. So yeah, it's a big deal. So even if we just get Power Surge initially and we don't get the custom servers, this is still a huge thing for the Rust population, especially if you're playing on the regular, because solo players have more chances to get into bases, and it just slows down the Zergs from really putting down a lot of spam, and they have to think twice, because you can't literally keep these on for very long, because they're going to sap your entire energy reserves, which have to be collected over time, which is a great gameplay loop. I'm big on that, but it's also going to add a lot more balance to the game. So anyways, yeah, Power Surge, massive deal. And then also, you know, traps and little things like this. You put that on a timer, and all of a sudden all of your furnaces light. And then just a quick dip in here, Power Surge is also strongly related to Farming 2.0, also known as the water system. And if you look here, there's another way to shut off your furnaces. You put those on a timer, and people might start to think that you're home. Just saying, get the brain working about how cool Power Surge is going to be in Farming 2.0. Lots of really cool possibilities for all kinds of players, especially the solos, especially if you're into electricity. But anyways, so you can start to see how some of these things really tick down on the server usage. And you can see here that they try to, and again, this could very easily change. These are loosey-goosey numbers that came out initially, and they've since removed it, which leads me to believe that they've got different options here and maybe different price points. But already they've got a standard and then a performance. And you can see right here we have the gathering multiplier, which we have now just seen back on the PTB 2X servers, which would be great. I hope they keep that in the main official servers, at least a handful of those. That would be really nice. You know, just to add some more variety to things, I think that'd be great. But just know that once our community servers come out, there'll be hundreds, if not thousands, of servers that will have all these different permutations that people will be able to do. PvE, PvP, you name it, starting kits, no starting kits, building, non-building. So it's just nice to see that they got different price points. They're trying to really focus on this. And you know, a lot of people are like, hey, how come they haven't brought these out? Again, because they're so strongly related to each other, Power Surge and custom servers. They need to make sure they get it right, and because Power Surge got pushed back, you know, obviously it was supposed to come in 2021, but obviously there were some run-ins and stuff. So I think because that fell behind, also custom servers, but by no means are they going to hold back on getting custom servers. It is a source of revenue for them at some point. It is a business, so that's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with making money. But it will be a source of revenue, and I know that's one of the more requested, if not the most requested feature that people have been asking for. So they definitely hear it, and they're definitely working on it. And I think as soon as we get Power Surge closer to PTB, or it's actively in the population, I think we'll have a better idea of where this is going to go. Yeah, so I think if things go chronologically, if the fishing village goes into main branch first, that means Oceanbound's coming into PTB. If PTB Oceanbound gets stable, it gets pushed to main branch. Then we'll see what comes in for Power Surge. And then if they start to feel confident in how this is performing, I'm sure we'll hear an announcement, because this is something everybody wants. And they did bring it up around the roadmap, but it wasn't on the roadmap, because I think they'll bring this out ASAP. As soon as they're confident that these are going to run correctly, I think they'll put it on PTB or have a couple of subtests, and maybe the 2X server is one of those things. I don't know. And once they're confident in that, I think they'll make the announcement, say, hey, look, we're looking to release this on this date. So I think it's going to be around Power Surge. I really strongly believe that they're related to each other, as there's so much of the back end for Power Surge that needs to run correctly in custom servers. So we're anxiously awaiting this. I know you guys are too. We hear it all the time, and we're very excited for it. So basically, custom servers are a lot closer. We don't have an exact date yet, but just know that we will be running this. We are seeing a lot of activity on the custom server side on their events and stuff. Here, let me take a sip of the old tactical cylinder. Point in case, the oil rig event that they ran, the testing event, they did straight up use one of the tools on me to push me ahead of the queue, because we're in like a 90-person queue because I crashed out. And they're like, hey, what's your gamer tag? And they pushed me forward on the queue, and I was like, dude. And they said it was like a new tool they were testing. I was like, that's great to have like queue skips for certain people. You know, because think about it, you want your admins to come in, they need a queue skip. Or if you have some VIPs, you'd like them to have a queue skip, which I think is great. So just showing that all of this is happening. I mean, even look at the fishing event. We had admins flying around, spawning things for us. They built little structures, and so that was really good. So again, it shows that this is all percolating and it's happening. They've even said they have a lot of progress. And even from the sign up here, let me go ahead and just fly up here. From the sign here, they said all this is going to happen in game. So things like our arena that we're building here on the PC can 100% be done on the custom servers here. Like, I know we've been doing it on PC because that's the only place we have it available, but we'll be doing things like this, building a PvP arena, streaming it, having some of the viewers come in. We'll do like scrimmages, we'll do 1v1s, 2vs, we'll do free-for-alls. I think it'd be fun. And then we'll have other people like, you know, maybe we'll have some brackets and some people fight it out, and we'll sit up in some box seats and stuff, and then the channel members will be up there with us and stuff. And I think it'll be a blast. We're planning on having 2 different types of servers, one being a bi-weekly, with standard harvesting rates, and then the other one will be an event server, so it'll run things like this. We'll have like a raiding event where we kind of spawn things in, and then 2 teams get to raid each other, and then we kind of officiate or observe. I think that would be great. There'll be a few where we jump in. We'll be doing stuff like this, like a PvP arena itself. I think it's going to be a blast. And again, if you don't have the money to do a custom server, you don't have to spend it. Just come by and hang out in one of ours. We've got like a standard bi-weekly server, which, by the way, is the most requested / played server on the PC side, and you'll see why. Bi-weeklies basically mean halfway through the month you get a soft wipe, and then at the end of the month there's a hard wipe, and it makes for some really fun gameplay, especially for people that have normal jobs and normal lives. It makes for like the right amount of time to build up, and then, like, you know, even if you get wiped that first time, you can build up enough BPs for that secondary wipe. And then there's that hard wipe at the end of the month that puts everybody back to 0, and it's a blast. All of the main servers play it. People love that game type, or the, I guess that would be a wipe schedule. So we're very excited for that. And again, if there's a lot of requests for another server type, we'll definitely put it in the rotation. But yeah, I mean, just know that when these do come out, we'll be running some events. We'll be live streaming it. It's going to be a blast. And any chance we get now, actually, we've been doing this actively now. This is one of our arenas currently. So sometimes we'll kind of be jumping between PC and then the console side to kind of get our brain going on how we want to make our arena and stuff. So it's going to be a blast. Yeah, be sure to drop a like if you found this useful and helpful. If you're into it and you'd like to get the information like this, also our live streams and other videos, consider dropping that subscribe and clicking that notification bell. And yeah, we'll see you guys in the next video / live stream. Love ya. Bye.